Hello, this is Angela with Progress Permaculture. I am standing in the front yard, obviously, of my permaculture garden here in Zone 8B. It is right at kind of the golden hour. The light is really beautiful. The sun is beginning to set, and like all of the green is just reflecting everywhere in the garden. I love being out in the garden after dinner. It's just such a beautiful time. Everything seems that much more vibrant. The greens just really pop in the garden. But I'm actually out here for something that's not green at all, and it's actually something blue. I owe you guys an update on my Juneberries. I did a video last year where I talked about how in a year where my raspberries and blueberries really struggled, we had these epic heat events. I actually lost a couple blueberries. I had some significant problems with my raspberries. We had really late frosts, and we had a lot of things that didn't set fruit, and then we had a lot of things that died in the subsequent heat. Very weird year. 2 years in a row, it was weird. And so I said, like, for me, what was really producing incredibly well was my Juneberries. They also go by the name Chuckley pear or Saskatoon or serviceberry. They are native here. I do have two up here in the front that are dwarf ones that are called Northline. They are an improved variety. And then I have a straight species one in the back as well. I really like Northline. Let me turn and show you here. So here I am. Sorry, the light's gonna be a little crummy here. Here I am. Here's the Northline. I'm 6 feet tall. This is supposed to top out at 5 feet. I find it really gets closer to, here you can see, closer to about 6 feet. I don't have to prune it. It doesn't get any taller than that. A great height. Serviceberries that are, oh, see if my camera can handle this. Okay. Serviceberries that are straight species, wild types, can get 15 feet tall. So you might not have room for a really big serviceberry. I love the Northline ones because it keeps the fruit right where I can harvest it. I don't have to get on a ladder. I can just reach out and pick it. So how are they doing this year? Well, some folks had asked me, like, Angela, do you have problems with your serviceberries getting rust? And I will say, yes, I do in some parts of my garden. This particular specimen never gets any rust, never had any rust on it. And I think that's because it has wonderful air circulation where it is right here. Sorry, my neighbor's dog is barking. Wonderful air circulation. If you struggle with rust on your serviceberries, I would encourage you not to plant them right next to a cedar. That can be really difficult here in the Pacific Northwest. Not right next to your quince, which can also be a host for rust. But I would also encourage you to think about what is the air circulation. Don't pack them in too tightly under your trees or behind a hedge where they don't get good air circulation. I would also encourage you not to overhead water your serviceberries. Those are two ways you can really help reduce rust. I don't talk a lot about treating plants because I don't really do anything to treat any of my plants. I will do, sometimes I'll do like a milk spray for powdery mildew on my roses. Plants that are not native, I will sometimes treat with things like, compost tea or foliar sprays to encourage them and give them a little bit better nutrition. But serviceberries are native here in the Pacific Northwest, and I definitely don't baby any of my native plants. If I have a native plant and it is riding the struggle bus, then I'm gonna rip it out and put in a different one. Something else native, a different variety. But for me, my Northlines have done a good job of being pretty darn free of rust. And they've also been epic producers this year. As good as last year, if not better. They have produced tons and tons and tons of fruit. These will go into the freezer. I don't super love them raw. They taste kind of like a mix between a cherry and a blueberry, but with like kind of an almondy flavor. So I really prefer them cooked, but you can absolutely eat them raw. They're edible raw. They do have seeds in the middle, but they're like, I dropped one down my shirt. Okay. The seeds are not, not so large that you can't just eat them whole. Really good jam, really good in pies. Also, we put them in smoothies quite a bit, cobbler in the winter. I have a plastic tub in my freezer, and I just pick whatever's ripe that day. Then I open the lid on the tub and I throw it in. And by the time it's the end of Juneberry season, I have a couple of tubs full. And then in the winter when I want to cook with them, I just take the tub and I take it out of the freezer, knock it on the counter, knocks enough berries loose for a recipe, and I throw it back in the freezer. Could not be any lazier in the way that I freeze my berries. So that's my update on how my Juneberries are doing this year. It is the first week in July and they are still cranking out the fruit. They were a little bit late this year. I think my blueberries are also going to be quite a bit late. I love having that diversity of crops. I love having that backup. If my blueberries are struggling, I know I'm going to get a Juneberry crop. I feel like Juneberry is one of those crops that I can count on even when the weather is difficult, even when it seems like other things are struggling. It's one of those standbys in the garden that I know is going to be a workhorse and a great producer for me. If you've not tasted Juneberries, I'd encourage you to try them before you buy them. They are really lovely in the spring with white flowers. They're really beautiful in the fall as well. So a good ornamental plant. But if you're going to the plant nursery to buy one, do not pick out the service berries that are the ones that are sold as a landscape plant because they have the beautiful flowers and the beautiful fall foliage. Get one that is improved for the size and quality of the fruit, because the ones that are selected for their landscape potential are not selected for their fruit production nor the flavor and sweetness of the fruit. So get one that is specifically bred for the fruit quality, and I think you will be really happy with your service berries. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I'll be back really soon for my permaculture garden here in Portland, Oregon. Thanks.